few years now, and basically I would write blog articles for them. And how else can I say it? Recently, I lost this job to AI. I didn't actually get fired. It's not like they came to me and said, yo, we're replacing you with AI, just put the fries in the bag, little bro. Because you don't really get fired from a freelance gig. It's more so a matter of whether or not they need you. And
yeah, that's exactly, especially for those of us who are contractors. You see, a lot of these jobs just go away. In fact, even right now, I'm noticing a lot of like graphics work has gone.
If you have not subscribed to Alboa Cinema, this is where you will get everything. So subscribe. Subscribe.
So now, karibu to Alboa Cinema. First things first. Si munaona hizi vitu zote. This is my crowdfunding for our feature film, bookofcar.com. Book of Car chapter X at bookofcar.com. Be on your website. So you can, put your contribution there. We are trying to do the feature film. We are raising about 5 million shillings. But as we are raising the money, we are also producing in the studio here. So we are continue with the work. So we have the till number over there. And then, of course, we have the PayPal for the people who are abroad or who don't want to use M-Pesa. And then, of course, we have Buy Me a Coffee, search for Alboa Cinema. Now, there was something I've talked about before, and I think this is crucial to how things are going to turn out in the production, not just our industry of film and whatnot, but generally in the many industries and whatnot. AI right now is as far as because let me give you my personal experience, all right, with AI. It has basically replaced every type of assistant that I ever needed. That's what it is done. Proposals, doing numbers, everything, asking questions, research, all that. So as even concept development, it's basically a very, very informed assistant. So we are going to, there's this guy called Alex. So I came across his video, which is 2 months old, where he talked like he lost his freelance writing job to AI. And I actually think one of the first things that has become really taken over by AI is writing in general. Just doing research, writing articles, even writing books. A lot of people are using AI, like you just put your general idea, then they adjust it as they go, because the AI collects from everyone and then gives you what they would think you want. So we are going to listen to Alex Way and see what he has to say. I'll give my commentary. Then I'm going to show you where a current series has used AI, and this has been talked about by the director, and to look as to why they used it, and basically to prepare you for what is coming. And I think whether we like it or not, this is something that will not is not going away. I have seen a lot of artists make noise about it, talk about how it is not what's the word? It's not artistic, it's not this, it's not that. But I'm saying this is like 2-3 years down from really the wide scale use of AI. Now imagine the next 10 years. As in, I'm just telling you, like, what I'm able to do with AI right now. In 10 years, I would literally need very few people on set to do films, if at all. So of course, there'll be, the normal important people, lighting, camera, what. But we are going to listen to Alex Way here tell us how he lost the job to AI. I give my commentary. Then we switch to another video that to show you how this director used AI. I think it's Kingdom of David. I think there's a series called that out right now. So let's go.
I have something I wanted to talk about. I wasn't sure if I should, but fuck it. If you've watched my channel for a while now, you'll know that I talk about how I do freelance work and I have a few different gigs that I do. And one of them, which I believe I've mentioned before, is that I do freelance writing. There's this one company that I've worked with for a few years now, and basically I would write blog articles for them. And how else can I say it? Recently, I lost this job to AI. I didn't actually get fired. It's not like they came to me and said, yo, we're replacing you with AI, just put the fries in the bag, little bro. Because you don't really get fired from a freelance gig. It's more so a matter of whether or not they need you. And
Yeah, that's exactly, especially for those of us who are contractors. You see, a lot of these jobs just go away. In fact, even right now, I'm noticing a lot of like graphics work has gone, a lot of, logo work has gone, because you can do your own logo on the internet using AI. So a lot of things are just going. There are times when doing motion graphics but now there's templates, there's AI that can do that. There's just so much going on. So yeah, so he didn't lose his job, but it's one of the many contracts that he depended upon, to live his life.
whether or not they'll keep assigning you tasks. And I haven't been assigned anything recently. In the past few months, they've been pretty quiet, which is obviously unusual because I would usually get around 3 to 4 articles a month to write. It wasn't the main source of my income, but it was a decent chunk of it, and just a nice little side hustle I had going. In fact, I'd been working with them since back in college just to make some money on the side. But anyways, it was like I haven't heard from them for a while. They haven't been giving me new articles to write, so I was curious. One day I decided to go look on their website, check out their blog section, just to see what's going on. Like, did they just stop publishing blog articles because they're focusing on other aspects of the business? Maybe they're hiring new people to write it. Maybe I just didn't do a good enough job. Maybe they just slowed down a bit since we're reaching the end of the year and the holiday season and all of that. But when I actually clicked on the blog page for their site, I was kind of shocked to see what I saw. Just for more context though, I did know that they worked with other freelance writers, but most of the articles on their site were written by me. I'd say like 60 to 70% of them at least. Like I said, it would be around 3 to 4 per month from me, 1 or 2 maybe from a different writer, and that would come out to about 1 new blog article per week published on their site at best, typically even a little less because it takes some extra time to actually get it published. And again, this is from the combined effort of me and these other writers.
We know,
This
okay.
time when I checked
Continue.
their blog section of the website, I saw that they had like 4 full-length blog articles, all published within 1 week, and obviously none of them were from me. So it looked like they're just pumping out articles en masse, and they were pretty good quality too. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I see what you're doing. They literally went from like a few blog posts a month, maybe once a week at best, to like I think 4 in a single week. And
So this is one other thing I wanted now to, not just speaking, I'm just going to give you a commentary on what I think, how important is it? Because now in terms of output, to produce more quality, more stuff, but qualitative stuff. Now I was telling you on the writing front, this job is almost done. It will be done almost exclusively by AI, I believe. It won't take so long because I've used it to do some writing and test it and said, hey, it's coming. Because really the truth of the matter is there's nothing new under the sun. That's the creativity aspect is what tries to merge all these different aspects and styles and what to create your own unique thing. But really there's nothing new under the sun. So you'll always have the ability to do more work, more qualitative work with AI. That's just a fact. And it depends on what job it is, obviously, but as I said, the writing is going to go fast, in my opinion.
and that's a pretty big improvement. And obviously this was coming from AI. The reason why I know that, even though they didn't specifically say like, oh, we're doing this, is because I was actually warned about it beforehand. I know that this company has been experimenting with AI tools for a while now, and what happened was that earlier in the year, they actually told me about it as like a reason to lower my pay. They actually asked me to switch over to creating AI generated articles for
You see, for
a much lower rate.
that's what happens. If you're producing more easier, and the person who contracts you to do that can do it himself, so just saying, okay, you'll take less money per article, but you have to release more articles using AI. So that's where we are now. I think personally, if it comes to that, and you're a writer, say, oh, my creativity, please forgive the noise of somebody drilling around. So once you hear that and you try to fight it, it's not your business especially. They will just cut costs and say, okay, it was nice knowing you. This is not saying whether something is good or bad. I'm just telling you facts about how people do business. And I'll tell you personally, if I'm cutting costs without reducing the quality, I will do that. That's just prudent business. It's nothing more or less. And I would suggest for most people, if you're doing jobs for other people, let it not be an emotional endeavor. Just know what your task is, deliver the best you can, get your pay, and wait for next or move on. That's just what it is, because a lot of people get intertwined in the emotions of their work. Oh, I have my friends, no one cares. Where we are going, it's about maximum output for the least input. It's always been that way. But right now, there are tools that can actually do that better than you. So it's either you're making a career change or you're adding on things to the skills and talents you have. But you have to change. There is no shortcut about this.
They were saying like, hey, a lot of companies are using AI now. We were thinking about doing.
By the also, one of the disadvantages of this is that a lot of the articles or a lot of the work looks similar or the same. It's a disadvantage of AI, yes, but it's also kind of happens the same when people are just writing articles, especially if people are kind of think the same, are in the same ideology or what. They tend to write the same way, they tend to use the same vocabulary and things like that. So that's why I was telling you, writing and even music, because there's patterns to it, is going to be taken over. In fact, I'll play you songs by AI. I think I've played them before on my channel. Like, you wouldn't really know that it's done by AI. So I'll play, after I finish the videos, I'll play the song so that you can see all up. So this is going to be a more in-depth video about how AI can take your job. And really, I'm hoping I can give you a little insight into what you should do, or at least what you can do.
Doing the same, but we still want to keep you around, have you as part of the team. But instead, we can just have you be the one generating these AI blog posts.
Yes.
With a little bit of human edits here and there, and we'll still pay you, but at a lower rate.
Yeah.
And obviously, I didn't want to do that. I still want to make my money.
So you wanted to make your money, so you do more of them because it's easier using AI, and you continue. There is no picking and choosing here. In fact, for myself, especially as we in the creative industry, artists, this is what is really like disturbing us right now. People, there's no originality. No one cares. Even you, the movies you've done, everything else you've done, music, it's a copy of somebody else's previous to you, who's shown you the way, the style, the whatnot. So all these things that have patterns and get with the program. If it means doing more, but it's easier to do more, you have to do it or walk and do what you want. That's unfortunately the facts.
So I sort of negotiated. At the time, I guess they still needed me, so we just kept the same rate for my original articles, and that's how it was going until recently. But
yeah, they were preparing now. They say, oh, this guy is not gonna to move on this, so let him continue writing as we strengthen our AI setup, and then we see he can move on.
But it always was in the back of my mind that they could replace me with AI at any time if they really wanted to. That's just the nature of the business, and it's just hard to compete with AI nowadays. And it's not even like I wasn't using any AI to begin with either. Like, even with my original articles that I'd write, I'd basically do the rough draft on my own, but I still would use like ChatGPT and ask them, hey, can you help me polish it up and fix any.
He's already using AI. Then anyway. That's what I write. What I need to write, then I use whatever. I normally use Grok more these days on X to edit, to give me different ideas about how there are any gaps in the story. So it will analyze. So it told me, no, there's these gaps. Then you could even ask it, what can I do to cover the gap? It's not just facts, man. See, even nitengeneza AI, it is what
Any
it is.
typos, replace any phrasing that you might think is awkward or
Yeah,
that kind
exactly.
of stuff. So I was in part using AI as well because it saved me some time and made the writing a lot better. If you
Yeah.
don't know already, ChatGPT, and especially like the paid version of it, it's extremely powerful.
Yeah.
It can do a lot of stuff. And I've experimented with it. The company I worked with, they've experimented with it, and it can generate literally entire 1,000-word
word.
blog articles
Within seconds.
all for free, basically. So it's like, how can I compete with that?
You
Honestly,
can't.
I don't blame them for using AI instead of having to pay me a decent amount of money. Like,
This, at least he has a good attitude about that. The earlier, I was trying to castigate, not really castigate, I'm just saying you just take the job, as it is. But he understands that for every company, cost is very important, and if you are able to cut costs, you'll cut costs. Entire divisions, thousands of people are fired to cut costs to maintain the business. And if you are maybe trying to just use your writers the way you do without cutting costs, then you are competing with other people who are using AI, producing more and better written, and they're just releasing that, and you don't switch, you'll go out of business. You can't meet the cost. It's just that simple. So it's a good attitude, at least from him. If personally I'm already in there, and it's allowing us, for example, for us to produce, like, for example, your book of cards, the concept short film. It's only 2 people that are involved in producing that. And, AI, it's idea in some places, my mock-up, all things. There's just so much going on there. Motion capture, mock-up, that is. In animation, the movements, yeah. Like, that is already, right now, the AI is on a different level. If you have the right setup, it's perfect. So yeah, that's what's going on.
if I were running a company, I'd probably also do the same if I wanted to maximize my profits. It
Yes.
sucks, but that's just the way it is. Like in the past, it would be...
Although I would say maximizing profit is not the end all be all. I think also to maintain high quality, to me, to be able to maximize profit, I think also the quality must be top. If you look at Hollywood at the moment, the quality standards have fallen so much, and their profits have fallen also dramatically. So you kind of have to make the balance between cutting cost and maintaining quality. That's what I was saying. Because if AI can do it through and through, maybe you'll cut more cost. But if you just needed to fill gaps where you don't want to hire personnel that will cost you more, then that's what you're talking about. But I suspect a lot of these tasks will be taken over by AI.
There would be this whole workflow for getting an article published. I would get an article briefing assigned to me. I would usually finish up a draft, splitting up the work over the course of a few days, maybe like 5 to 6 hours total. Then I would send my draft back for revisions. They would send it back to me saying like, hey, there's some parts that we want you to change. I would make some final edits, and all of that would happen before the article could get published.
And that's like a week, one article. Well, you can do several a day. If you have a blog site writing about all kinds of things, you can do several articles a day. If you're really about that business right now, that's what I'm saying. Like, AI, as far as I'm concerned, is a tool. It will render some people's skills and talents not very useful in the market. And I think that's why these days we have to be multifaceted when it comes to the skills and talents that we have. It's inevitable. If you want to compete, it's just inevitable. I'm telling you guys right now. That's why I put so much emphasis on AI. I've done a number of videos about this, but I'll continue to be updating because it's important and it's going to affect us, whether we like it or not. That is, technology comes. You can decide to continue drawing with your charcoal or use the printing press. It is what it is.
So it would be about a week-long process back and forth, and they paid me a decent amount. But now with AI, they can, again, generate an article, let's just say 80 to 90% of the quality of that. But they can do it within seconds, minutes at most, and don't have to pay ChatGPT, aside from whatever subscription cost it might be. And it's not even just ChatGPT, by the way. That's just what I use, what most people use. But there's so many different AIs now, some of them in specialized areas. Like, for example, the platform that I would use to write my articles was this thing called Phrase. I don't know, maybe if you're also in the freelance writing space, you might be familiar with it. But it's essentially like a platform where as you write, it helps you keep track of SEO, keywords, and other important things. But earlier this year, I believe, they came out with their own generative AI, which can also just write an entire article within the click of a button. But they're also specialized in incorporating SEO, keywords, and stuff like that. So yeah, I've said it a lot of times before, but just from the market standpoint, how can I compete with that as a human being who needs much more money and much more time for that? This is just where the world is going, it seems. Like, again, maybe in terms of quality, I can write an article just as good, even better. But asking me to do it over the course of a few days and overall a week versus AI doing it within a few seconds for really no money at all, it's an easy choice if you're the one who's running the business, I guess.
So let me jump ahead. So here he's explaining about the different AIs. Let's talk. Let me hear what he's saying here before I jump to the one where the Kingdom of David, yeah, where they used AI now in video. This is now text, yeah.
An athlete or something, or even some other forms of like manual labor, because we don't literally have, for example, a job I would say that's irreplaceable is like being an athlete or something, or even some other forms of like manual labor, because we don't literally have robots or anything yet, but also
various forms of robots have taken over a lot of the manual labor also. Just so you're aware, in factories and farms, things like that. So it is
another
what it is.
form of job or whatever.
So AI would make the mechanical aspects of it much more accurate, much more predictive. That's where it's going actually right now.
Whatever you want to call it, that won't be replaced by AI is authentic content creation, like YouTube. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing this channel, along with the other travel and outdoors channel that I recently started. So check that out if you're interested in that. But I realized that this is a way to make money that actually can't possibly be replaced by AI.
So your personality, maybe, I think that's what he's saying. What you give as a person, doing the actual vlog, walking somewhere, doing what. I don't know if they'll be able to do convincing generation of videos like that. I suspect it would, but I also suspect that by then, because also I suspect this is what will happen, that the authentic human-made art and what things will become more expensive and more wanted. Like something rare or something, like for the emotional satisfaction of it being authentic or human. I think that market is going to be there. Right now, we are going through the ups and downs. But for example, art, I suspect because it's so easy to generate on AI, it's not going to be very valuable. So human-made art is going to be a lot more valuable, in my opinion. I don't know if the market will necessarily prefer it to the AI. So it's wait and see kind of situation. If they're not able to tell the difference, will they care who made it? And that's where we are going. So I'm actually thinking about this holistically, even in my own industry. I'm not trying to act cocky that, I can't be replaced. I don't know. I'm just like, hey, you can replace some of my skills. I'm fine. I can still produce and basically come up with concepts that I can use AI to push. I can tell stories different ways. I can come up with many stories. I can retell stories. There's just so much to do that. To look at AI particularly, I don't see it as an enemy. I see it as now it has made me as an independent producer and a small business operator to be able to compete. I don't need to be huge to compete. That's one way of looking at it. And I believe it's going to be the case. And I think there's going to be a lot more smaller entities that will be able to compete in big industries. That's what I hope. But at least I'm hoping that will happen. Because if it doesn't happen here, universal universal income. Unabuka tu, you're just given your kakat. So you guys will start. I don't know. I'm really trying to picture what the world is going to be like. And I think that dystopian world we see in a lot of Hollywood films, a bit of that. I have to think about it. There's a script here somewhere that I need to I wouldn't use AI because they might throw me off. No, we are useful. But why you want to delete us? So I'm going to move from Alex way. Alex, you're a young man. Continue hustling. You'll be able to get what you want. And you're in the first world. So things are much better, Mr. Alex.